where we talk to entrepreneurs who are finding interesting ways to grow and operate their businesses utilizing video. We like to talk specifically about the how so that you can do it too. If you find this info engaging and useful, go ahead and hit the engagement buttons on whatever platform you happen to be watching or listening to this episode on. Subscribe, share, review, you know what they are. All right. So today we are kicking off Opportunities and Planning Month on the VCN or Vidwheel Creator Network. And we're doing that with mindset, health, success, everything coach Christos Angelidakis. Christos, it's great to have you.
Neil, thank you so much for the introduction. It's great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Christos, I'm going to give you a chance to do a better intro of yourself than I just did. Do you want to kind of run down who you are and your
Mhm.
business?
Definitely. I love it. Thank you so much. So, a little bit backstory from me. I'm Chris or Christos. I live in Greece, in Athens. And right now, I'm a wellness coach for entrepreneurs. But my background started in engineering, something unrelated. And then I transitioned to graphic design. But then I realized that it was not very fulfilling. And I decided to transition to something different. So, instead of just working to make money, actually making an impact. That's when I transitioned to coaching, helping other people to become better versions of themselves. And I started as a health and nutrition coach. And then I slowly transitioned to more like a holistic approach for self employed people and solopreneurs because I've been self employed for 9 years. And I faced all the challenges and struggles that solopreneurs face: anxiety, stress, isolation, getting like procrastination, not eating well, not exercising, working all day long, pulling all nighters, all the beautiful things that entrepreneurship has.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's both a blessing and a curse, right? You have the
Exactly.
freedom to work when you want to. So do you use it to not work as much as you should, or to work too much, or to never turn off the work? That one I can very much relate to. Very nice. So awesome. And then I think I hit it right. Coach of everything. You've kind of gone through a lot of the bits and pieces and now you coach on a lot of different things. So if you had to boil it down to one sentence, I know you've got a
Mhm.
good elevator pitch there. Hit us with that one sentence version.
No, I love it. It took me actually a while it started like as one paragraph, like two paragraphs, one paragraph, some sentences. But right now is that I help solopreneurs stay on top of their business by putting themselves first. That's the
Nice.
phrase, concisely. So staying on top of your business, thriving, and also having a life while having a thriving business. And the idea is optimizing our business through our health, and that by putting ourselves first, we can actually work less, earn more, and have fun while running our business too. So it's all about balance in life and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that all sounds great, right? Nobody's going to argue with that. That is good stuff. And so I do want to mention I brought up that it is Opportunities and Planning Month on the VCN. Before we get deeper with Christos here, I'm going to let you know that this episode live streams January 3rd. And then we do have another event January 5th featuring Carl Ponteau, who will be presenting on opportunities and planning at noon, and you can find that event. And then I also am plan or will be presenting on January 19th. You can find that event too. You can find all of these at events.vidwheel.com, including this live stream and future live streams of the podcast. And you can go to events.vidwheel.com at any time to see the future events that we have coming up within the VCN. So now that I've done that plug, Christos, we're back to you. Are you excited
Amazing.
to kick off Opportunities and Planning Month?
I'm not just excited, I'm honored, Neil, for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Well, I mean, you and I have been in contact for a bit via LinkedIn, right? That's how we
Mhm,
met each other through some of this brave new world of digital communication. And I thought you were a great fit because you do have a lot of content that you put out there, very often in video form, that's tied
mhm.
a lot to kind of planning your day, planning your life. Kind of, uh, yeah, if you have a plan, everything gets a little easier. So, why is it important to have a plan overall? And then, because this is a video podcast, how can we tie it back to video? Two-part question for you.
No, no, I love it. I love it. It's actually extremely important. It took me a while to realize that, but without having a plan, it's so easy to get lost and overwhelmed. And you can start creating content, a lot of content actually, and you can actually start losing track. Like, where do I put this video? Where is this post? Or this images? And you have like Google Docs and Google Drives, and everything is in many different places. And if you don't have a plan and a system, everything gets lost after a while, and you get overwhelmed, and you also get discouraged because you don't know what's going on. Not to mention that you're wasting a lot of time switching and like trying to find everything, so it's not efficient. So actually, I used to do it like that, like I think it's like 1 year ago, but then I discovered Notion. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful platform which is a combination of Evernote, Trello, and Asana, I would say, combination of these things.
Hmm.
And now I have everything related to my content creation, posts, images, videos in one place. I have it as a calendar. I have it as a database. I put tags. I can search. I can do anything that I want. I can filter things. I can sort things. So everything in one place. So I know exactly what I'm going to post for the next 1 week, 2 weeks, sometimes for the whole month. Everything planned out in a calendar where I can actually go and find the links for the videos, the images, the post, the text, everything.
Very cool. And the to go beyond kind of the content end of planning, are
Mhm.
you able to use Notion to plan, upcoming tasks or keep track of appointments, anything along those lines?
Honestly, it took me a while to find different information from the internet in order to compile it in a way that it's actually efficient. But right now, I would say 95, maybe 99% of my life, not just my business, is organized in Notion. I have my
Nice.
projects, my tasks, my content creation, my CRM is in Notion too. Everything related with my clients, all of my notes and the sessions, everything. I also have a list of books that I've read and all the notes for the books and summaries, podcasts, courses, everything in one place. The only other system that I use is Google Calendar for just like the calls and the
Sure.
stuff. Yeah.
And that interfaces well with Notion from my experience, if you want
Yeah.
to.
It
So,
exactly
yeah.
integrates perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I will say my own tech stack there is I'm Trello only, right? Like,
Hmm.
and it's
Hmm.
only because I've been using it so long that I don't want to take the effort to kind of translate everything over.
Makes
But
sense.
I will also say that in exploring Notion, they have a direct link between Trello and Notion where you can bring in your Trello
Hmm.
boards right into Notion. So, maybe I'm running out of excuses, but that's how that's how I do it. And uh, yeah, I think each person. I was having this discussion um, earlier today. Um, each person, I think you need to find your comfort level in terms of the what software you use,
Hmm.
your
Hmm.
familiarity with it, the capabilities of it, and then you make a jump when it's appropriate for you, kind of thing, right? And we have extra freedom there because we're solopreneurs, and we don't have 1,000 sales prospects or
Indeed.
employees to keep in mind. We just kind of can roll with it, and we got small manageable numbers to
Hmm.
use
Hmm.
whatever systems we're most comfortable with. So I got a
That
little
is
off
true.
track there, but
No, no, it's
I
fine.
love
It
your
goes.
answer.
It's actually depends. There's so many different tools. I'm definitely biased towards Notion because I love it so much, and
Yep.
because I had to use Evernote for notes and Trello for boards, then Asana for project management. It was a combination of things. Now I can have
Sure.
everything in one place. And also because of my background in graphic design, I like visually appealing things.
Hmm.
So it's very easy on the eye. Notion with icons, all these things, colors. So it's very, very easy in the eye. And when something is beautiful, I'm more likely to actually use it because, for example, Evernote is not that beautiful for my eye in my eyes. So it's like kind of old school. And that's why I didn't really use it, to be honest. I was like on and off with Evernote.
I think that is something that plays a much larger role than a lot of people would probably like to admit, right? It's got to be
Indeed, yeah.
pretty. If it's pretty, I you know, I'd like to see a study on that, right? Like the really beautifully designed UX experiences, if there's like a higher adoption rate or that type of thing, or
Hmm.
if it's easier to develop a habit tied to it, which I think is another thing. We won't go too far down this rabbit hole,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
that I think is super important with any of these systems. They need to be a habit, right? You need to get into using them all the time because you can set up the perfect
That is
system.
true.
And
Hmm.
if your inputs aren't happening or you're not moving things along, it's not going to do much for you. So, yeah.
Actually, yeah, you need to actually, let's say, put it on the calendar. You need to schedule time to actually work on your system deliberately because even if you have the best system, if you leave it like that, it's going to pile up with many different things and it's going to be too overwhelming to get back to it. And you're going to fall off the wagon or like fall off track. So it's very important to have a system where, for me, it's Notion, but for somebody else, might be Trello, Evernote, Asana. It doesn't matter. Choose the tool that works best for you. It must be as frictionless as possible and very easy for you to use. You need to actually enjoy the software because you're much more likely to actually use it in the long run.
So, and well, see, I said we weren't going to go down, but we're going to keep going down this path because you just knocked something free. I just did my presentation on the sales system I use that's built in Trello. And one of the
Mhm,
comments that came after the presentation was that it was very manual, which it is. It's pretty manual, right? I'm moving cards around, I'm inputting
mhm,
links. But I think in my personal use case, being more manual is actually a benefit because sales don't come real naturally to me. And
mhm.
pulling that card from one list to the next when I make a transition with somebody, like seeing impact can be really really powerful in terms of making that task slightly more
Yeah,
fulfilling,
of
starting to
course.
build those habits if you're like getting to move cards around every day, like feeling a little bit of success. So because you're the mindset guy, what do you think about that? Is it little wins sometimes?
The mindset guy, I love it. Actually, it's very, I don't know if there are any studies on that, but for me personally, and I've seen this with friends, clients, with many people in my network, when you actually sit down and you do things manually, like having a checklist, even it can be like digital checklist, you can
Yep.
actually write things off and you can go through your task and see how much you've actually accomplished. This creates a sense of fulfillment, that I'm moving forward instead of having like just random automations. You actually check this off and you know that you've done it. And when you do it on paper, I many times use post-its, to be honest.
Yep.
Like I put a checklist for LinkedIn, for example. I go through the posts, through the comments, all these things, and I check things off. And it's very rewarding that I actually done it. So I'm moving forward. So
And
this
you've
is a
got
great
that
point, actually.
tangible proof that you did something, right?
No,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And what I do is usually I take the post-its because sometimes we forget how much work we put into our business. I take all these post-its and I put them behind my screen and I actually accumulate them for the month. And I can actually see how many things I've done, like for the last 30 days. Because it's
Oh,
so easy to lose track. And there's a beautiful book called The Gap and the Gain. I don't remember the author. I think it's Dan Kennedy, but I'm not sure. Correct me
okay.
if I'm wrong on that. And it's the idea that many people are focusing on the gap instead of the gain, which means that we're constantly in this mode of trying to hit our goals, like the revenue, like the clients, all these things, and we feel we're constantly in a place of lack, that we've not done enough. We don't take the time to actually realize how far we've come. It's like going up a mountain, like, I don't know, for days climbing up a mountain and constantly seeing the peak. You're not there yet. Instead of looking back and see how much you've actually climbed. And we actually tend to forget that. It's so easy, especially in the digital world.
Yeah, that's that. Well, and yeah, one more check for manual work, right? That's I think that's an excellent way to kind of have that be obvious, right? Like without adding any more friction to your own day. It's not like you even have to manually be like, man, I wish I knew how much work I did. You just look on the wall behind your monitor and it's right there. I like that as a good, yeah, I think like a motivator
Exactly.
for productivity, or kind of, I don't know, trusting in the system that you already have built. All right. So we're going to get back to video now, though,
Hmm.
and kind of pull it back in. Uh, Being in Athens, I assume, and from our previous conversations, I know you're doing some work out of the area, right? And you're probably using a lot of video to do so. So,
Hmm.
how are you using video as a person, who's doing a lot of business out of town?
Honestly, I believe that video is the probably the best medium to actually communicate with your prospects, clients, with your network, with people. It's such a beautiful way. And personally, I love also unedited video, like one take videos, because it took me a while to actually realize that it's okay to put yourself out there. People want to connect with real people. And if you misspell some word, mispronounce some words, if you do any mistakes, if you forget something, it's human. We're human beings. We make mistakes. It's totally fine. And I wanted to actually show exactly who I am, so people can actually communicate with me, connect with me, create rapport with them, so they know exactly who I am from the videos. So when we jump on a call, it's natural for them. They've already seen me. I don't like putting these perfect videos, perfect editing, everything cut. Like, these have their space, of course. Probably you need to do this on TikTok and stuff like that. But for me, for my business, I want to create real human connection with my prospects. So that's why I like doing it unedited. And also, video is by far the best way to do that. People
Yeah.
see you, people connect with you. You can still do it with images and selfies and with text. You can still do a little bit, but not even close. Video is the best for me by far.
Yeah, and I'll say within the VCN, I always talk about that as you get to meet people before you meet people, right? Even before you get
Exactly.
on the video call, there's some familiarity there. There's
Mm,
some people have some idea of what you're like, right? Like it's a way to kind of, you know, let people get an idea of what they're in for, which is a great thing, whether that's positive or negative, right? Like
it is a
if
filter.
some yeah, if somebody watches your videos and they're like, I don't like this guy, great. Like that was never going to be a successful client. Go
Exactly.
to that other person who does something similar that's a better fit. And I think that's a huge piece. So that's on your marketing side.
Mhm.
Do you do a lot of your coaching and your consulting work uh, through, say, Zoom or another video based platform?
Actually, 100% of my coaching is online and it's done through Zoom. Yeah. So everything is on video.
Okay. And then I guess you have a great looking videos set up there. Have you
Appreciate it.
kind of had the have you had the experience where you started and you're like, I'm doing the Zoom thing, and then you buy a piece of gear and buy a piece of gear, or did you recognize the value in having that high feed stream to the success of that model and go get it all done at once? What was your process there?
Well, that's a great question. I started a little bit, like testing the waters, getting my feet wet a little bit to see how it goes. But since I like design and all these things. And I have to agree, I have to admit that I'm a perfectionist. Like deep
Mhm.
inside, all of us are. I'm trying to fight that. So I always do my best to produce beautiful content, like visually appealing. So I'm like, I should get like at least a decent camera. And it's not very expensive, to be honest, like the setup, because I realized that the most important thing is the lighting. This is the most important thing. If you don't get the lighting correctly, even if you have like the best camera, it doesn't look good. And also I have to adjust the lighting based on, because it's getting darker here. I have to change the lights and all these things.
Yep.
But other than that, it's just like a normal camera, a good microphone, which is very important, I believe, too. It makes a huge difference, especially if there's
Yes.
echo in the house. And yeah, I believe I don't like trying to look serious and all these things. I'm very easygoing and relaxed. And yeah, easygoing is a word, not outgoing. Easygoing, yeah, that's the word.
Yep.
Uh, but I believe that you only get one chance to make a first impression, and you also show to people that you are taking this seriously. You know, you're putting the effort, like showing up on camera with high quality audio, high quality video, nice clothes, just showing up for people. And you are not trying to make sales or anything like that, but it's human psychology. People are going to take you more seriously like that and are going to connect better with you. This is what I think.
Yeah, I agree. So in presentation I often put on, I bring up the fact that you wouldn't show up to a sales call in your pajamas, right? And like people joke about
Exactly.
wearing shorts or pajama pants on a video call, but uh it's the video feed is that professional attire, right? So it's all about showing up like you actually meant to show up, like you actually give a damn about how you show up. And I think that that makes a huge difference. And so much of that, I also agree with your assessment, is audio and lighting. Like you don't need to have a super expensive or super um
Exactly. Exactly.
technical setup, but show that you put some effort in, right? And it goes a long way.
It
So
goes a long way. Yeah. Like the
yeah,
whole setup here is like probably, I think, $150, something like that, which is
yeah,
a great price for the camera and the microphone and the lights, which is,
yeah.
I believe, it's amazing.
That's all you need. Start a digital business these
Yeah,
days, right?
exactly. Then you can
hundred and
move
fifty
forward, change
dollars.
the backgrounds, and go to a beautiful place. You can
Yeah.
definitely change many things,
Yep.
but it's like I like also what I try to do is go to the 70 or 80%, very quickly, and then you
Yep.
can refine it if you want to.
That's our one of our core philosophies here, right? Like the you can get to a level where you've got good quality, and then you incrementally improve from there. And just like your mountain reference, when you look back 2 years later, you're going to be like, wow, look what I did, kind of thing. So it's a
Exactly,
huge
exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about benefits. We talked about how you can have a good looking video feed without big money. What about challenges? Do you find any challenges utilizing video, either on the content or on the kind of Zoom consulting end of things?
Mm. No, that's a great question, Neil. There are many challenges. There used to be more. Now things are getting better, but of course there are always challenges with video. When I started, I was too afraid to actually show up on camera. You know, Seeing your face on camera all the time, it's just weird in the beginning. You have to get used
Yes.
to it. Like it's like I'm not like looking good. Like am I beautiful? Am I handsome? Like I don't have any hair, and all these kind of limiting beliefs and all these things come up. And you started realizing, and you see all these details that like 90% of the people don't even care, to be honest,
Right.
because we tend to be very strict with ourselves. So this was a huge ordeal and a huge challenge when I started out. It took me a while. And what I did honestly is I started shooting videos on my phone, and I didn't even post them online. I did it like a 30-day challenge, one day, one video each day for each day. And I started getting acquainted with the actual, like how it feels to look at the camera and to see yourself on video and all these things. And it started to feel a little bit more natural. Of course, it's very important to know that and realize that when you just start out, when you're just starting out on video, it's going to be like, okay, you're not going to be good. It's fine. It's a skill.
Yes.
but you should not get discouraged. Things will get better as you move forward. The more videos you shoot, the better you will become. That's the idea.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree with that. I love that technique too. Don't even release the first ones if it's too hard. And that's one thing that we often hit on within the group too is your first video is not going to be your best, right? You do that first video because you have to get past the first video, and
Exactly.
then you keep rolling from there. And it was probably a year ago on this podcast we had Alex Sheridan on. I don't know. Do you know Alex Sheridan from LinkedIn? He does a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah. I
video
think I follow
content.
him on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did it. He had a great way of explaining this, which he attributed to someone else, but we didn't know who their name was. But instead of like a lot of people think of it like, well, it gets easier, right, as you go through the process over and over. But whoever this mystery person that told Alex said it doesn't get easier, you get better, right? You're building a skill there. It's like
Exactly.
any other workout or skill building thing. You get better and you get better and you get better, and before you know it, you're on a podcast uh overseas, just having a great looking video feed without even thinking twice about it, right? So there you go.
That is true. Like the opportunity of meeting people from all around the world is just the most beautiful thing, I think. Like for me, it's so interesting. Like having clients from, I have clients from the US, from the UK, from Spain, from Japan, like from all around the world. It is so beautiful, so interesting, and so exciting for me, honestly.
Yeah.
And another thing that I wanted to add is it's so it's important to have like a good appearance and as like good lighting and all these things and audio. But the most important thing is to put your message out there.
Yes.
So because this is what we want to do with our video. So I don't want people to get discouraged. I was extremely afraid and I didn't put myself out there for almost a year, I would say. People are going to judge me, my accent, I'm not native, I'm bald, and all these kind of limiting beliefs. But then it's like you have to realize that it's not about you. It's about the people who are going to receive the message. And even if I help one person with a video, it's still valuable for me. And if your messaging is clear, if you actually excited about what you're talking about, if you want to create impact, it's going to land for people, even if you don't have like the best audio or the best setup.
Yeah, yeah, I love that message over all else, right? That is ultimately what it comes down to. You don't have to be beautiful or have a beautiful video feed or have that right look for your demographic. If your message is spot on, it's going to resonate, right? And then you
Exactly.
can tweak some of the other things as you move along. So. Uh, do you have any specific success stories tied to video and your business or video and we could get back to the theme if you want opportunities and planning.
Success
Um
stories with video.
yeah.
That's a good one. Mm, like you mean like any kind of viral videos, viral posts, something like that?
Oh, well, like it could even be that you've created this business based on video consulting that, wasn't a thought before, like something like that
That's
or a
that's
client.
probably it. Like
Yeah.
one is like overcoming the challenge of putting myself on video. It took me
Hmm.
almost a year to do that, and
Yep.
coaching and putting myself out there and being afraid every day, and looking at the phone, all the time, and like, what am I doing here? It feels weird, like looking at the phone and
Right.
seeing myself in my face all the time. And yeah, the opportunity to actually create a business from anywhere in the world through video, it is something insane in my mind. It's an opportunity it's a complete game changer, because video is the best way to connect. And yes, of course, in-person meetings are by far the best ones, but it's almost impossible to run a successful business, at least in Greece right now, depending, the financial situation and everything. And it's not just that, it's also that I love meeting people from all around the world. That's another thing. So it's very, very important, and it's a beautiful opportunity. I think, yeah, I don't look myself that I would do anything else. I don't see myself doing anything else. I love it so much, and it's only possible through video. You can still do audio calls. It's not the same,
Yeah.
but video is like amazing, and you can also have like many different meetings throughout the day. You don't have to commute. This is another
Right.
thing. Even though I have some clients in Greece, we still do video calls
Yeah. Right.
instead of meeting in person.
Well, and that I was going to bring up, right? My mic.
Yeah,
uh,
you're back. You're back. Amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So I was just going to bring up the commute, right? That is a great point. But a interview like this, you would hop on a plane and make a few connections to have the same conversation without this medium and what's kind of
Mhm.
available today to easily have these video interviews. So that's an excellent point. All right, where I'm going to bring you to the question that ties all of my episodes together. This is called the
Mhm.
Smarter Business Podcast. So, what's one way that video is great for your business? I know we've touched on that already, but one way
Mhm.
that it makes it smarter, right? What's one way that your
Mm.
business is smarter because of video?
That's a good question. I would say because it's your videos become your assets and they can literally work like for you 24/7 online on YouTube, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, and people can connect with you and you can like be in your bed and sleeping and people are connecting with you, they're building the connection and the rapport. And then it's much more likely so that they will jump on a call with you. They feel more relaxed to do it. They feel that they already know you. This is a beautiful thing with video. And yeah, it's for me, it's the best medium by far. Like I
Okay.
wouldn't change it for the
Okay.
world. Yeah, it's the best way to communicate with people.
Right on. So we're getting back to the introduction. The familiarity is one way. Yeah, the video can make your business smarter. I like it. So
Especially, sorry to interrupt you, but
no, go for it.
especially if you're like a coach, because if you're selling a product, it you could have like different kind of ads. But if you're quote unquote selling yourself, I think it's the best form of marketing by far.
Right on. Right on. So I'll give you a chance if you want. I usually put just an
Mhm.
open-ended question here at the end of any interview. Anything that I didn't touch on that you want to bring up or something that get knocked loose during our conversation?
Mm, Honestly, nothing comes up. Uh, let's see
That's
if I have
okay.
anything on my notes. No, I think we're good. Yeah.
We hit it all. All right.
Yep.
Right on. Well, then the next question is, where can people find you? Where's the best place to get in touch?
I love it. So the best place by far is LinkedIn because I'm not a very like I'm not a social media guy, honestly. I think it's too distracting to be on many different platforms. So I mainly focus on LinkedIn. My website is under construction, but also people can find me on TikTok where I started uploading some videos there too.
Okay, excellent. And we will link if you we'll have some posts about this episode that link to Christos, and then we will put his LinkedIn profile in the show notes as well. So go find him there. His info that he puts out is informational and educational and well worth checking out. So thank you, Christos. Thank you very much for being here. I am going to do a couple quick closing notes here. Um, if you find the info that we just kind of talked through here interesting and useful, again, hit those engagement buttons. Uh, yeah, if this will be out on LinkedIn, YouTube, subscribe and review. If you're listening to the audio version, tell your friends and colleagues who could learn, grow, and thrive with video. We would love to have some folks listening and checking us out. So happy creating to you all. And Christos, thank you very much for joining us. Uh,
It's been a pleasure,
Great
Neil. Thank
combo.
you so much for calling me. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
amazing. Appreciate it.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you.